Hello everyone, we did something a little different for our fifth virtual ensemble project. I am super pleased to announce that we are premiering the works from young composer Diego Campos, who's only 17 years old and living in Texas. Now here's a little word from our composer, and I hope you enjoy this gorgeous new music.
Campos. You might know me as Trill from the Karanet Army server. I'm the composer of 3 and Freedom, and the little history on 3 is that I originally wrote it for my 2 sisters and my brother-in-law because they're 3 of my favorite people. And it was one of the very few times where, I could hear the piece in my head, like the melody, all the accompanying harmonies, the chords, the way it flowed and moved, all in my head way before I actually sat down to write it. But I had to figure out a way how to get to that part of the song because I already envisioned it being a sort of like culmination, like a climax of everything, all the established themes. So I decided to split it up into 3 distinct parts. The first part being very sparse, with having a little dissonance, conflicting harmony to signify my younger sister. And then I had regal sort of sounding brass instruments to signify my brother-in-law, because obviously this is just my perception of them. And then very elegant flowing strings, which is the part I had originally imagined for my older sister. And then at the end, a simple sort of combination of the 3 different sections of the song I had written. And so, that then after I'd written that, I realized that it would fit very well in another project I am still working on, The Light of Versa, which is supposed to be premiering in March of 2021. And I thought that would work well as the brother-sister theme for 2 of the main characters. And in the end, there would be another extra character there, and it would be a trio, so 3. So I thought that worked rather well, and it fit into the context of the story, and I already had this sort of emotional connection to it, so I decided to put it in there. And my intention is to have, at the very end of the film, have it be a culmination of like the little motifs that I have sort of injected into the into like the score as a whole, and that culmination would obviously be the piece 3 with the strings and everything. So that's a little backstory on 3. It's at this point in time it's a very layered piece for me because obviously it has the element of my family, and then the film, which have been working on for almost 2 years, and by the time it'll be released, will be 2 years. And obviously now my first live performed, well, not necessarily live, but performed by live musicians, piece of music. And the arrangement that you're going to be hearing in a moment is an arrangement specifically made for the Karanet Mass Army, because I originally didn't have some parts written for some of the instruments that were that are in the Mass Army. So you're gonna be hearing some new pieces, new bits that I wrote in that aren't in the original and that aren't on Spotify or really anywhere. So it's kind of a premiere of this arrangement. And then for Freedom, that was another one that I also sort of heard in my head, but I didn't really fully realize the actual massiveness of it all until I went and sat down to actually write it, and I was like, wow, this would sound really beautiful with strings and like have this sort of like swelling up, and then having just some very very minute wind instruments, and then eventually the wind instruments would take over. It's not a very complicated piece. In fact, it's pretty simple, and I could have gone a lot farther with it, but I I didn't really both have the time to, and I don't know. It just sort of like was one of those pieces where you just kind of got stuck and you didn't really know where to go. And I do regret that I didn't continue to nurture it as all pieces really need. I just didn't give it that caring amount of time. So, I mean, at some point in the future, I might write an extension to it, or finish it off. But I felt like it was a good fit for the last piece of my album 3, because it sort of left a little more to be desired. It was like, well, what else is there? And I wanted that to sort of tie into my next album, which has yet to be even named or written. So there's a little brief history of what you're about to hear. I hope I didn't take too long. thank you for watching my composition. It really means a lot, and I especially want to thank, well, Nick, Rhianna, Benjamin, Kara, Lana, all of you. Especially Nick for putting up with me at the beginning, because there were so many problems with my score sheets. But I really want to thank all the performers who did an exquisite job. Thank you so much. It means a lot. My life is complete. But thank you for watching, and see you soon. Oh, and also, :-D.